You already know the type. The one who thinks saying the wrong thing is harmless. The one who doesn't. Notice the tiny cracks forming. As she slowly pulls away, stop, right there. This is about 3 things you must never say to a woman, and yes, one careless word can erase all your effort. It begins with the first mistake. You're overreacting. Did you just say that? Watch carefully. She's not hearing your words. She's feeling every ounce of dismissal, that slight shift in her eyes, the micro-tension in her jaw, the subtle exhale she barely hides. It's all a warning. And here's the humor. Most men think this is harmless. It isn't. You've just stepped on a landmine with a blindfold on. Imagine her scrolling through messages, one finger tapping lightly, her mind replaying your words. She doesn't need drama. She needs awareness. You're not just texting. You're planting impressions that either pull her closer or push her away. That line, "You're overreacting," it's a trap disguised as casual conversation. The microstory unfolds in her mind while you think you're joking. The second no-go is almost as subtle. Calm down. A phrase so innocent, yet so catastrophic. You say it, she hears it, and suddenly her trust, patience, and curiosity start to slip through her fingers like sand. Subtle, right? But here's the thing. She remembers. Days later, that phrase echoes louder than your jokes, louder than your effort, louder than any charm you think you've built. And somewhere deep down, she notices. She feels it. She recoils, not out loud but internally. And the humor, if you can call it that, is brutal. Most men who utter this line proudly consider themselves funny, clever, or logical. Meanwhile, the woman is recalibrating her entire perception of you, quietly, efficiently, almost scientifically. You think you're safe? You're not. Finally, every word you say carries weight. Every casual misstep can trigger the slow erosion of desire, curiosity, and trust. These aren't just mistakes. They are invisible exits you leave behind, doors she steps through without looking back. You're learning fast. You're noticing the patterns, the tiny cracks, the moments that matter most. Stay with it. Pay attention and brace yourself because Part 2 dives into the words that feel harmless but hit hardest. And yes, it gets even sharper. You stayed. You saw. You know. By now you've felt it. The tension, the subtle shift in energy that comes when the wrong words slip out. The second deadly mistake. It's not a big deal. You think you're reassuring her. You think you're minimizing conflict. But here's the truth. She doesn't hear your intent. She feels dismissal, a subtle shrink of importance in her mind. She notices even when she pretends not to. And the humor? You're probably proud of sounding logical. Meanwhile, she's quietly tallying every slip, every shrug, every casual underestimation of her feelings. Picture it. She's reading your messages late at night, the glow of her phone reflecting in her eyes, her fingers hovering over the screen, unsure. Every careless phrase is a breadcrumb, a subtle indication of who you are when it matters most. It's not a big deal, isn't just a phrase, it's a moment that erodes trust. Just a little, invisible but impactful. She leans back, crosses her arms, the micro-tension building. And you? You're oblivious, thinking everything is normal. Then comes the third trap. Why are you upset? Innocent curiosity? Perhaps deadly mistake? Absolutely. That question forces her to justify her own emotions, to explain something that should never need justification. She feels exposed, examined, measured. The dynamic shifts subtly, almost imperceptibly. And here's the dark humor. Most men believe asking questions shows interest, concern, or attention. She perceives it as interrogation, scrutiny. And every time, the attraction shrinks a fraction, silent but decisive. This is not about control. It's not about manipulation. It's about presence, awareness, and emotional alignment. Your words create gravity. Pull her closer or push her away. The timing, the phrasing, the energy behind them, they are invisible forces she feels before she sees. You can't undo the misstep once it lands. Feel it in your own body. The anticipation, the subtle dread, the awareness that every message carries weight. You're learning to pause, to mirror, to measure. You're becoming conscious of the micro-tension that decides whether she leans in or pulls away. By now the stakes are clear. Words are not casual. Words are magnetism or repulsion. And Part 3? That's where the secret power of subtle challenge enters. The secret that makes her lean in, intrigued, craving your presence. Without you saying a single extra word, you stayed. You saw, you know. You've learned the words that push her away, the phrases that quietly erode interest. Now, let's step into the secret power of subtle challenge, the magnetism she notices without realizing it. This isn't about tricks, lines, or clever manipulation. It's about presence, timing, and the smallest sparks of unpredictability. The first element is simple yet deadly effective. Don't over-explain. She notices everything, the pauses, the unsaid words, the deliberate silence that follows a message. Imagine her scrolling your text, reading what you didn't say as much as what you did. The humor is almost cruel. Most men think over-explaining shows care. In reality, it signals desperation, and desperation is invisible poison. She senses it, somewhere deep, before her conscious mind even processes it. Next, introduce the tiny challenge. Not a confrontation, not manipulation, just subtle unpredictability. A small boundary, a brief delay in response, a text that invites curiosity rather than answers. She notices the energy shift. Her mind leans in, trying to understand, trying to decode. It's hypnotic. It's magnetic. She's no longer waiting for you. She's paying attention, intrigued by your presence, caught in the tension of your subtle control. And here's the micro-story to anchor it. Imagine her laughing softly at a message, her finger hovering over a reply, her eyes darting to the phone again and again. She doesn't realize she's anticipating you. The way your restraint, your timing, your understanding of weightless power pulls her attention. Every word she reads now carries double meaning. Every pause becomes suspense. And the humor? She's addicted, and you're just sitting there, barely trying. Finally, recognize the reality. Your presence outweighs your words. You've seen what not to say. You've learned the micro-traps. Now every tiny gesture, every subtle hesitation, every carefully measured silence compounds into attraction. She notices without knowing why. She leans in. She stays engaged. And you, just by being aware, hold a quiet, almost terrifying power. Remember, this isn't about winning. It's about not losing her attention while she unconsciously leans closer. You stayed. You saw, you know.